Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Adult Project. Today we're talking to Jordan. He's 28 years old, he lives in Seattle, and he's an actor.
I've always kind of had that in myself, just performing. My data just completely got leaked. That was probably the most lined up scam, most accurate, well-played scam that I've ever been through in my entire life.
In my conversation, expect to learn how to become a successful actor, how to deal with the pros and the cons of being famous, how to not fall for very complicated or well put together scams, and how to deal with addiction and how to get out of addiction. I hope you take a lot of insights from this conversation, and I hope to see you soon. Enjoy the episode. So how was your life after high school?
Yeah, for sure. After high school. So, it was it's very different than what I expected. I was one of those people who after high school I didn't go to like a big university just like all my other friends did. They went to like big universities, and I just went to like a small community college, and my life definitely took a different path after high school. And I don't know if you can understand, you kind of realize like after high school, it's like you see the people that you knew, that the people that you saw every day in high school, it's like obviously you don't see them anymore, and you kind of lose track with them. And it's like the friends that you thought were friends aren't necessarily your friends. And but also I understand, just because life goes on, people have their own things that they have to do and whatnot. But it definitely took a different path, just because when I was in high school, I really was passionate about basketball, and I went to a high school where it was one of those high schools where they will go and like recruit people from like middle schools, even like they want people to come to our high school. Like they were known for cheerleading, all types of sports. And my senior year, I got cut from the basketball team because I had one F, and they were definitely favoritism kind of coaches also. And
right.
Yeah, it was harsh. It was very hard on me. But where I'm at now, and after high school, I started to pursue a career in film and television, and that's been going really well. It has its roller coasters and everything, but yeah, man, I've had my fair share of relationships and just experiencing life in different ways that I never thought I would when I graduated high school. And just like life.
Yeah, and before high school, Jordan, like how do you, the way you saw the life after high school, before finishing high school, how different was it from experiencing it?
So like before high school, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, before high school, yeah. How did you see it?
I envisioned myself, playing professional basketball, honestly. Yeah. That was kind of my thing. But like I said, life works in mysterious ways, and it's like I feel like it kind of worked for a reason, because let's just say after high school, one of the reasons why I also took a different path was because like I said, I went to a small community college, and I met certain friends, and I was in a certain friend group that weren't necessarily good for me, partying too much, and
yeah, right,
and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. But yeah, that just it definitely hit me hard. And I'll never regret the good times that I had when I was with them, because I'm a firm believer that people come into your life for a reason. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it when it comes to that.
Yeah, so you can't. Yeah, so you filtered kind of those friends, because as you grew up, as you matured, you realized that your circle is super important for your future growth. And so is it because you went to too many parties and you were like, okay, I can't even focus on myself, or how did you realize that those friends had to be cut off?
Yeah, it just kind of came to a point, like I think it might have just been like an age thing as I started to mature, as I started to grow as a person. If you're familiar with this, but power of association. So you're the product of the people that you hang around. And so I think it's like the most 5 people that you hang around, or however many people that you do, those have a huge influence on yourself, and you become a product of those people. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's who you are in the root, and you have the power to be able to change that. And so I feel like that's when I came to realization, as I started to age and started to grow, is that it's it's kind of hard, you know, because some of those people were actually good people, but you just knew deep down in the roots that they weren't good for you, and you just kind of, you had to cut ways, you had to cut ties with them, you know. So,
and people, I mean, if you're talking about this period right here that you're talking about, it was probably between what, 19 and 25 or 18, 20?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like after I graduated, like 18 to 25, I let go of a lot of people, personal choice. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it wasn't even a choice. Some people just came into my life, just, you know, they just came, and that, you know, we became friends. And but yeah, I had to do what was right for me and cut those people off. So
of course. And then so when you cut those people off, with the first difference that you noticed?
I noticed a substantial amount of growth in myself, and knowing that I was able to have the power to be able to make hard decisions like that. And sometimes it's okay to say no and tell yourself no, and other people no. And a lot of people don't do that. I used to be a yes man. You know, I always had a hard time, like, you know, almost like being a people pleaser. Like I always felt like I needed to please other people and be there for them. And it was just kind of like, well, I felt that a lot of the times it wasn't reciprocated. And, you know, when you do so much for other people, and when you hang around so many people and they don't necessarily reciprocate it back, when it comes to a friendship especially, it's just kind of like, well, what am I doing here? And on top of that, it's a one-way street. And, you know, they're bad people for me, and they're bad for my mental health. So you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day, you know?
100%. Yeah. I also had this realization of, like, you want to be the nice guy, you want to appear like the nice guy because you want to be liked. Which, you know, it doesn't matter to be liked by people that you don't want in your life at the end of the day anyways.
Exactly.
Right. So I think, maturing is definitely that part where you just focus on what's best for you, and whoever is going to provide good things in your life, they're going to be attracted to you anyways, just by being you.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. So I can definitely reflect on what you're saying. Super. Yeah. And so after you got laid off, if we say that, in basketball team, you ended up in the acting business or acting career. How did it happen?
High school, I started doing stuff like, you know, Hairspray, West Side Story, a bunch of like well-known plays. And then after that, after high school, that's when I was like, man, maybe I can really start doing this for real. And so I found an agency in my area, and I've been with them ever since. And it's just been kind of skyrocketing from there. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
So you grew with this agency, and where was the time where it took off?
Honestly, man, I feel like it really took off probably just a couple years ago.
And why? What happened?
Yeah, so, well, I'll tell you this. So I've been with my agency for about 10 years, but also I go out and go find my own work as well. I'm on multiple websites where, you know, you can apply for jobs and, you know, shows, movies, all that kind of stuff. So I ended up booking a television show, and that's where it kind of skyrocketed from there. And I started getting a lot of opportunities from being in that. And but before that, you know, I was still doing, you know, a lot of, you know, bigger things. But that's when it really took off. And it's just like, you know, it taught me a lot, just because, you know, it's the thing about the industry is that it's not for everybody. It's show biz, you know, so there's it's a business also. And a lot of people that want to get into this industry have the talent, they have the creativity, you know, they can perform, but a lot of them don't focus on the business aspect of things. And that's where it really all comes from, you know, the marketing yourself. And the industry is it's very relationship based, so it's about who you know, who knows you. And and it's really unfair, honestly, too, because, you know, you can book a job just because, you know, the director or the director knows you, or the casting director. Gotcha. It's just kind of like, you know, so many people who are auditioning for big parts or whatever gig that it is, and they have talent, they didn't get it just because connections. And that's the way that the industry works, and it's kind of a unfair world also at the same time. But
well, relationships, you know, at the end of the day, people do business with who they liked, right? So it doesn't matter if you're the best set for a certain role. If the people that's recruiting just have a better relationship than somebody else, they will rather do a business with who they know already. And so if someone wants to go into acting and you're brand new into acting, you'd say, what's the first thing that you'd say they have to focus on? Market yourself? Look for agencies?
Honestly, probably one of the first things that you want to start doing is you have to get headshots. So you have to
Headshots,
have like, that's like your marketing material. So yeah, in a way, marketing yourself, but getting yourself commercial headshots, theatrical headshots. So theatrical are more serious, commercial are more, you're smiling in the pictures, and yeah, there's a lot of ways around how you get those pictures done. And then after that, yeah, you can definitely start looking for agencies if you want to. There's a lot of websites out there where you can start applying for jobs, but it's also nice to be able to have some type of a reel as well, like showcasing your work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so people can see, what you can do in front of the camera, and that's a really big aspect. But
okay,
yeah.
And the role of the agency obviously is to also market yourself, because they have probably relationships all across. And they're the ones who goes out of their way to say, hey, we know Jordan, and he will be perfectly fit for the role. And that's how you book those shows, right? Or those episodes.
Yes. So when you sign with an agency, obviously when you sign with them, you sign a contract, and when they book you a job, or when you get a job, they'll take a percentage, obviously, because they're the ones that found you the job. And so you'll get 80% or 90%, they'll get 10% or 20%, depending on how big the job is. So that's kind of how it works. But a lot of the times, that's why I've also been able to like to find my own stuff as well. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And so you said the television show. Can you tell the name of the television show that you played in?
It's for sure. It's called Surviving the Cartel, and it just aired on AMC actually. So it's on the AMC network, and it's also on Amazon, and it was it's been really fun so far. So I'm actually flying back out there for season 2, and
season 2 is happening. Right.
It's happening. So
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Absolutely, yeah, it's in the works. So it's really fun, and I enjoy every bit of it.
Lovely, man. And how did your life take a turn after this? Like, what's the changes that you noticed the most after playing in this?
Yeah. I realized that I got a lot of opportunities because of it, and a lot of opportunities where I didn't even have to audition. And I've been so used to auditioning for a lot of things in my career. And, people would just be like, hey, we think that you'd be a great fit for this. Are you available on this day? And it's like, they're not even asking for an audition. I'm like, well, this is kind of cool, And I've been able to do a lot of projects like that. And, but also at the same time, with me doing bigger things and how my career has scaled, you also see it on a perspective. At least for me, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like there's certain people that come into your life that, how do I explain this? They see what you're doing, and it's just like kind of people that you haven't talked to in years just come out of the blue and just be like, hey man, like we were friends in high school, blah blah blah. Right. They see you doing big things, and it's kind of like they almost want something from you and kind of want to come into your life because of what you're doing. And I'm like, all right, well, hi, nice to see you again. They just like, it's also kind of taken a turn with that, not just opportunity wise, but the people that almost kind of come back into your life, and the people that you see. And I've had a couple experiences where I've seen people in grocery stores, and people that I used to know, and it's nice to see them, but they'll just like ask for a picture, and then they'll just kind of like leave, and it's kind of like, damn, Yeah, so you don't think it's that genuine. You don't think there's a genuine intention after. No, it's not. And I guess that was kind of like, I want to say a couple years ago is when I really started to first experience like the feeling of fame, I guess. Mm-hmm. It was a weird feeling because I'm not used to that. And it was kind of exciting, it's like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I'm being recognized for my work. It's really paying off finally, after everything I've done. But, it comes with pros and cons too, being in the industry. But again, despite that, I love doing what I do. It's amazing, and it's passion. It's my passion. And you don't see yourself doing anything else. Yeah, man. That's good. And so so you talk about the pros of being famous now, or more well known. And what's the main cons now? What's
probably the side effects that you don't want out of this fame?
I guess just coming to realization when I was younger, I'll be completely real, that's kind of like what I've always kind of like wanted and like dreamed about, like, oh gosh, I want to be famous, like, oh gosh, I want to be recognized, I want to be known. And you know, it kind of came to reality, and kind of is now, but it's just like I don't know, there's a lot of people that talk about you, and your name is in a lot of people's mouths that shouldn't be. And it's just kind of like it's kind of one of those things where fame isn't necessarily something that I don't want it. Like I don't at this moment, like I said, I love doing what I do, and I guess with the industry that I'm in, it kind of comes with potentially that fame aspect, being known, being recognized for what you do, you know. But honestly, like at this moment in my life, I don't care about it anymore. Like I don't care if people know who I am. I don't, you know, I'll continue to do what I'm gonna do, but yeah, my name's been in a lot of people's mouths that you know, comments that I shouldn't have seen, and it's just kind of like I realize the detrimental effects that, you know, fame kind of has on your brain, and it's very different. It's very interesting until you actually experience it, or kind of have that rush of fame, that 15 minutes of fame, like some people say, just for like a little bit, kind of like if you go viral on social media and then it's like, oh, okay, you like it, things move on. But you know, you're like, my ego kind of boosted a little bit, and
of course,
I thought I was the man, you know.
Yeah.
People know me, you know. But I don't like to think like that, and it's just because, you know, I'm a normal person at the end of the day. You know, I do things that might have a contribution of fame or being recognized for what I do, but I never in my life and continuing on, I don't want that aspect. I don't want fame necessarily. I don't care to be out there in the world. Okay,
I see. But now you're kind of built yourself a shield kind of already, like, because we're kind of early in your career, right? We can say that. So you built yourself quite a shield just to not get affected by those negative comments. And is there other people that supports you with around this aspect of your job?
Absolutely, yeah. Like my wife supports me.
All right.
You know, my parents support me. They didn't when I was younger, because when I told them this is what I wanted to do, I still have those parents. Kind of like every once in a while they'll be like, you know, you can always go back to school. You can always do this, and it's like, yeah, I'm definitely
always
the black sheep of my family. So, you know, my family are, you know, they're engineers and they're nurses and RNs, and then I was born the creative one, you know, and the aspect of me kind of like being a performer and doing film and television was kind of odd for them, just because you know, they wanted me to go to school, they wanted me to get a really good job, and they wanted me to do great things, which there's nothing wrong with that. But at the very beginning, it was hard because I didn't have the support that I wanted, because they didn't understand it, because I took a lot of risks also. And, you know, calling out of work, going to an audition, or taking these big risks and sacrifices that eventually did pay off. But you know, now they see what I'm doing, and they're like, okay, yeah, you actually did it. Good for you, you know. And
well, especially because our parents, because we're kind of the same generation, you and me, the 1996, 1997, and they have a way different way of viewing life, right? Right now, it's so flexible of like what you can do on the day to day. You know, if you, like we talked about being counselor, but and if you want to transition, it's just so easy. But the generation before, they were doing, they were, you know, farmers, or they were working as a nurse, and they were doing that all their life and living a super fulfilled lifestyle, anyways. But of course, it's kind of hard to accept that your kid is going to go into a creative type of career that's completely uncertain, because, you know, if you don't get recognized, or, you know, if people don't book you shows, you don't, it's hard for you to progress. So yeah, but obviously the generation changes, and I think now they understood. Now they understand where you're at, what you're aiming for, what's the plan, and they're supportive. So that's amazing to see. But obviously, yeah, at first it's like you gotta, you know, take it a bit harder just because you're all by yourself and your parents are not super there to support you. Yeah, that's an interesting view, and I'm glad that it's working out now. Yeah. So and now we can talk about the thing that happened to you recently.
Exploring the dark web, and I was very new to it, and obviously I'm curious because it's like, well, the dark web, like what's here? You know, it's a whole new world. It's a completely different world, not just something you can Google. I didn't use the proper protection of what I should have when I explored the dark web. And after that, you know, I was just kind of looking around and I was like, man, this is dark. You know, it's a dark web, obviously, but like, you know, in terms of like, man, this is really dark.
Yeah, things you don't see normally.
No, like the things you can
never
buy, the things that I saw, it's like, man, like if this was public, this would be a problem. You know?
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, just kind of scrolling around, and you know, there's some things that I was like, yo, that's interesting. And so I honestly don't remember what it was, but I clicked on something, and my data just completely got leaked. And, all of a sudden, like my social media accounts are getting hacked into, and you know, I'm getting strange emails and strange messages, and it's like that really messed my life up, and it still affects me like till this day. And
right.
So you know, like they would hack into like my accounts and stuff like that, and it's been kind of happening for like the past couple of years. And like I said, early 2022, late 2021. But you know, people would get into my accounts and they would be impersonating me and acting as if they were me, and messaging
friends and family, or
both.
God damn.
On Instagram and on like Facebook, sending very weird and strange messages to people, things that I would never say in a million years to people. And even like photos and like just like a bunch of like really weird stuff, and I'm like receiving these messages, and like they were like, hey, did you mean to send that? And I was like, send what? Because I had no clue. And like, I don't message people late at night or super early in the morning or anything like that, you know.
Or weird stuff in general.
Weird, just like weirdo stuff, creepy stuff, you know. And it's been taking effect for a long time. And I don't know if it's a specific person or a specific group or whoever it is, but somebody that has been completely messing with my life for a really long time. And I want to assume this is probably the same person or group that did this, but early last year, so 2023, I can't pinpoint the exact date, but yeah, I think it was like February. I received this email, and I didn't take any suspicion, because if you know, or if anybody knows who watches this, it's like when somebody sends you an email and it's like at gmail.com, that's kind of suspicious to me, just because it's like, okay, this could be anybody, but it was a .com. It was like a professional website. You know, everything. So the person who sent me the email, I looked at their website, looked 100% legit, and to the point where. What
was the reason of the email?
Well, they were like, hey, we saw your profile, because I'm also on this website. It's called backstage.com. That's where I find a lot of like Backstage. So they're like, hey, we saw your profile on Backstage, and we'd love for you to audition for this project that we have coming up. And they gave me the details and the lists of everything. This person just popped out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm definitely down for it. And then they had a signature at the bottom of their email. And so I clicked on the link, and it was like sunrisefilms.com. I can't remember, something like that.
Somewhat legit.
Legit to the point where they had like a phone number to contact them. They had their About Me section was all the executives and the CEO and the stylist, to literally everything, casting director, whatever.
There was the legal footnote and stuff like that at the bottom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so impossible
And so I was
to
like, okay.
think.
And I was like, okay, yeah, this is legit, cool. So they're like, we'd love for you to audition for this project. Here's a little bit of details. If you can send this back to us at your earliest convenience, that'd be great. And so I was like, cool. I sent them an audition, right? And they're like, thank you for your audition. We'll review it as soon as possible and whatever. And the reason why I didn't take a lot of suspicion from this is because if you send an audition to somebody and they reply back like immediately, that's kind of suspicious. But they waited a whole week and they didn't get back to me for a week. So they took their time, you know.
That's an industry standard.
Yeah, they kind of made it legit. And so they're like, hey, Jordan, after review, we found that your audition was successful and we'd love to proceed with you. And I was like, cool, awesome. And so this is where things got very interesting. So
a bit spicy.
Like actually like confirmation, like a ticket from Delta
Things
Airlines.
are happening.
Because this is going to be in the Bahamas. We're shooting in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Okay.
There's nowhere else to shoot in the US but the Bahamas.
Absolutely not.
To have like a beach.
And mind you, it was Paradise Island, Bahamas. So I was
All
like,
right.
oh, but dude, everything lined up. You know, I'm talking to these people on the phone. I see all the CEOs and executives on their website. It looked legit, 100%. Right? So he sent me a flight ticket for Delta Airlines. And I was like, okay.
With your name and stuff, address.
With my name, everything. I'm like, okay,
everything.
this is why am I even questioning it at this point? You know?
Okay.
And so, and a couple days before, or I think like the morning before my flight, he called me and he's like, hey Jordan, he's like, how you doing? I'm like, good, you know, just getting stuff ready. And he was like, good, that's glad. We're really excited to have you on set. Just wanted to call you, see how you're doing, and just wanted to make sure that you get some good rest because we're gonna have a long shoot. We're gonna have a big day for the next couple days. So I was supposed to get there, I'm sorry, a week. So I'm gonna be up there for a week. So for the past week, yeah, we're really excited to have you on set. Just make sure to get some good rest and have a safe flight. I was like, perfect, right? And so
good.
He he sends me, because he actually gives me, he wanted to pay me also for the shoot. So he wanted to pay me and everything. So what he does is he actually sends me a check. Okay. He sends me a check, and I've had this issue before where I've gotten scammed with a check when I was in my younger days, because I was like, oh, dope, you know, like $3,000, cool. For an 18-year-old, I'm like, I'm psyched, you know. I got scammed, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm not doing the same thing anymore. So I have a little bit more knowledge of what possibly happened. Everything's lining up, but I still have some skepticism in the back of my head.
You have the PTSD thing.
Yeah, so he sends me the check, right? And I'm like, okay, first and foremost, I have to take this to my bank. The bank looks at it, and they're like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. Just from the look, they just looked at it, right? I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it looks legit, and of course I'm gonna trust a bank teller, you know? So I'm like, okay, cool. So it was $4,700. So I think the whole shoot was like $9,500 for the shoot. I'm like, cool. So
pretty good. Yeah, of course.
Pretty good. Yeah. So what do? I deposit the check. Next day it bounces. And so, and this was the day before my flight, right? And so I called the guy, and then I'm like, hey, so apparently this check just bounced.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
Of course.
And then he was like, it bounced? What do you mean it bounced? Like, we shouldn't be having any issues with our checks. We never have. And I'm like, well, we kind of having this issue now, so I just need to know what's going on. Like, what things went loose. And so I'm calling these guys, and I'm like, hey man, I went through all of this stuff for you to give me a check that bounced. Yeah, so overall, none of it was real. That was probably the most lined up scam, most accurate, well-played scam that I've ever been through in my entire life. Yeah, like, I want to assume that was probably the same group of people that have been kind of messing with my life.
Hey, little break here. I am looking for 30 people. 30 people that would like to join with the monthly project. The monthly project is a group of people who set themselves goal each first of the month, and they need to achieve that goal in the next 30 days. We will then keep each other accountable for achieving those goals and make sure that everybody is on track. So if you'd like to join me in this mission, the link is down in the description below. and I will see you in the group. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Yeah, it's been.
It's either that or you got really, really unlucky.
Yeah, really, really.
Like the unluckiest guy there is.
Yeah. Oh God, tell me about it.
Yeah. And they have your address and stuff too, so it's not even, like they just come and go. It's like they have so much information about you too.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get my social, which I guess is good, but
I hope so. Yeah.
Still, everything was madness, and till this day, there's been a lot of strange things that have been happening to me, and
all around.
People hacking into my accounts, impersonating me, sending out weird messages to people, and even like my family, which is very weird. And obviously my family's like, obviously your account's hacked, but it's the fact that those messages were still sent out. And there's this big page in Seattle, it's called Dub C, and they ended up like shouting me out because I'm gonna show the Seattle local talent. He's doing big things, and they gave me a shout out. And I see all these comments about, oh yeah, this is the weirdo that's done this is the weirdo that's done that. I'm like, what? And it's like, oh yeah, he sent me this, oh yeah, he sent me that. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe this guy's getting recognition. And I'm like, what in the world? And so it's just like, I have no recollection of this whatsoever. And people are messaging me, and throughout the days, I've been kind of slowly reaching out to people, just kind of, giving them a little bit of awareness, like, hey, listen, if you get a message from me, whether it's super late at night or early in the morning, it's not me, do not reply to it. And it's been something that I've been kind of thinking about, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, film and television, this is what I love to do, but it's kind of skewed me back a little bit because of, the reputation that I used to have to the reputation that I kind of have now because of everything that has happened. And it's kind of like, I kind of had this name of being this type of person, but people who really know me know that I would never do that stuff or don't do that stuff. So it's super hard, and it's affected me in a lot of ways. But other than that, I'm glad where I'm at because I've learned a lot, and I understand the world that we live in, and it's very important to. A lot of people don't take this into consideration, but I think it's really important to be able to, protect your phone, protect your laptop, protect what I'm not saying you need a VPN 24/7 on, but like we live in this world where these things actually happen. Your phone can get tapped into, your data can get leaked. People can hack into your social media accounts and do things that have been happening to me. And it just has to be such a sensitive time because of, and it's kind of affected my marriage a little bit even too because of everything that's happened, because of things that she's seen, and I have to try to tell her, like, this is not me, this is not me, like, you have to trust me. And when it's happened so often, it's hard for her. She thinks that, but that's not the reality at all. It's just not. And it's affected me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, first, you were saying, a lot of people think or see you in a different ways, right? I think people are so focused on their life, and there's, it's not like there's many people that have done way worse, and they're still, people go on with their life, and they're not gonna think about what you did in that specific moment. That's gonna affect their view of you so much, right? Yeah. Like you can't put this burden of what happened to you too much on your shoulders. Like you just like if you're doing one bad thing, like you're gonna do, like in your life, you're gonna do so many good things in the future that's just gonna erase that little bump, right? Which really didn't affect people that much. Like it didn't have a huge impact on their life either.
Exactly. And I know maybe in obviously like 10, maybe even 5 years, as time goes by, people are just gonna, people forget. And but obviously I'll always still think about it, and that's another reason why I don't want to be recognized as much as I used to because of everything that has happened. I still want to do what I want to do, but low key. I used to be the person that would post a lot of skits on my Instagram, and I love being a motivational person, and kind of preaching to the choir a little bit. And I still like to do that every once in a while, but it's definitely weird how life works sometimes. I don't care to be recognized. I understand that being famous isn't the key to everything. A lot of people want it, and there's people at this very moment that still want it, but it comes with a price. You got
I got a question for you.
Yes.
I got a question for you right here. Do you think what happened to you at that time, do you think it affected the way you're performing going forward? Is it kind of like putting a brake on you just because of what you think those people are thinking about you? Like if that had never happened to you, would you have wanted to be not famous and do everything low key, or did that make you want to be low key?
It kind of made me want to be low key, but honestly,
this
I will still continue to do everything that I'm doing now, and even if it does get attention, I have to understand that people will talk about you no matter what. There's so many haters out there in general.
Good, bad.
Good, bad, everything. Yeah, and even before that stuff happened, I've had haters, and I'm like, that hate is just motivating me even more. So thank you. But I'll always continue to do what I do, and life goes on. You just have to keep moving forward no matter what.
And
but
focus on all the people that you can affect now.
Exactly.
Well, the people that you affected before, it's done. So now all the new people that are going to see your work and are going to see you as who is the Jordan today.
Exactly.
Without knowing what happened before.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're just going to follow you through, right?
I'm going to continue to, better myself mentally, spiritually, physically. And tomorrow's actually my birthday too. So I'm excited for this new journey of moving forward with another.
Yeah.
So, what was that?
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. In advance. And so, okay. So, and who's Jordan in 10 years?
Me in 10 years is going to be somebody, it's a good question. It's kind of like, it's interesting that you say that, because it's kind of like people asking me like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Like, do you have a 5-year plan? Almost, or like a 10-year plan? And it's hard for me to answer that question. It's not hard, but what I say is I know I'm going to be where I want to be, which is going to be very successful. I'm going to have amazing credit.
Okay.
Successful
in what way? Successful in what way?
I don't know, because being successful is subjective, so everybody has their own terms.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, what's your successful?
Yeah. My definition of being successful is no money worries, living in a house that's paid off, being happy, just genuinely happy with who I am. I used to not be happy with who I was, but just accepting who I am at that point. And I don't know, man, I'm really looking forward to my 30s when it comes to that point. And I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years, but I know that I'm going to have a continuing marriage still. And I'm going to be very happy. And I guess when it comes to success, like I said, who doesn't want like financial freedom? I feel like that's just, I feel like we all kind of want that, but I never want money. In 10 years, money is not going to be a worry. I'm going to have the house that I want. I will probably have an amazing little dog right by my side too. Who knows? And
any actors that you would like to play with?
That I would like to play with?
Yeah, actors. Yeah.
Yeah. Kinda. I've always kind of wanted to do something with Jonah Hill. I think
he's a fun guy.
Funny guy,
and very
ever since Superbad, and probably like Seth Rogen too. Honestly, I heard Seth Rogen was kind of a prick in real life. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I haven't.
Of course, obviously, I would love to work with Will Smith. I feel like that's always been kind of like every actor's dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But it's I don't just have that pinpointed. Like, obviously, that's what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to have other ventures on the side too, because I want multiple sources of income. I don't want to just focus on film and television like one source. You know, there has to be multiple avenues of things coming in, and whatever that is, it's going to happen, and I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah,
Also,
I can see you trusting yourself a lot, not doing yourself a plan right now, but just trusting the process and trusting your capabilities that you have at this moment. And so
Absolutely.
I can't even imagine in 5 years, Jordan in 5 years already, that's going to have so much more wisdom, so much more experience, and then just compound, right? Your wisdom is going to be compounding, your experience is going to be compounding. So like, if you're that confident right now, I can't imagine what it is in 10 years. So
yeah.
That's good. That's good to see, and I have no worries.
I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll say this too, and this is something I don't really talk about because it's almost kind of personal, but I feel like it's something that should be said, and maybe people can take inspiration from it. But I know in 10 years that, and honestly, starting tomorrow with a new slate, my birthday, just being sober and not drinking alcohol. And I just kind of wanted to say that because I'll say this on here, and I'll just let it out that, I feel like all throughout my 20s has been a huge battle with, doing party drugs and drinking a lot of alcohol that has ruined my life and ruined a lot of aspects of my past relationships, and even a little bit of, the person that I'm with now. I'm a completely different person when I drink alcohol, and I just, it's something that's really taken into effect of me, and I'm really looking forward to just honestly a sober future. And I know that, like tomorrow, it's a whole new slate. Just it's gonna be a battle, and it's gonna be a long journey of just realizing that, man, I'm not gonna drink alcohol anymore, because it's
tomorrow. Who's coming to your birthday?
Probably just my parents.
Your parents? Okay.
And just like my wife, or we'll probably go out to like I don't know if you've ever been to like a Mongolian grill.
Yeah.
You pick out the food and cook it. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Because if they're on board with that, if they're on board with that, I think like your circle, if your circle is on board with what you want to do, it's going to be 10 times harder, 10 times easier.
I think so. But the one thing that does, always sneak into my mind is the fact that, because I feel like the reality is that alcohol is so normalized, and I feel like it's almost not normal if you don't drink, to a lot of people's eyes. There's a lot of advertisements about alcohol. Every corner that you take, there's a gas station with tons of alcohol, or a liquor store. Every grocery store you go into, there's and I definitely took advantage of that in all throughout my 20s, and has ruined a big aspect of who I am as a person. It has changed me a lot. I've hurt a lot of people. I've hurt my family, I've hurt myself, and it's just like I don't want to live that life anymore. But one thing I'll always have to remember is that it's not going to be an easy journey. Just because the terminology forever is kind of daunting to me, like very scary. Like the fact that forever, like no more of this forever, is like, wow, that's like a big thing. But understanding that I can't have it in my life anymore. I'm not a normal person when it comes to alcohol. I used to abuse it, and I've done a lot of it and made very poor decisions drinking. And yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to something different, and seeing where I'm at. And honestly, when I've done it, I've gained a lot of weight. I've eaten crappy foods, and it's just not for me. And I can't be like everybody else when they drink alcohol. And it's so it's going to completely come out of my life. And happy to be able to talk about this on here. I've never talked about this publicly before.
100%.
And,
I'm glad you're talking about that, and it's good that you're realizing that too. It doesn't matter if it had to happen 4 years ago or today. Like right now is the best moment, right? So, and Jordan, so I'm glad you talked about that. If we want to do a plan for the next 6 months, and that's the mission.
Yeah.
Being sober, right?
Yeah.
What's the plan that we can implement from tomorrow? What do you think?
you know, the
I'm
plan
gonna
is
write it
just
down. I'm gonna write it down, and I'm gonna hold you to it in 6 months too.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the plan is to, which is going to be hard. I think the plan is to not go around areas that cause a trigger. That, you know, going to certain areas, going to certain places where I know that I will be able to indulge into alcohol, to not try to be around those areas because it will be a trigger.
Like bar clubs and stuff like that you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go to clubs that much, even bars. I mean, every once in a while, yes, but yeah, being around. I don't hang out with a lot of people nowadays anymore, really.
Okay.
But it's just, honestly, I can't blame anybody but myself, because there'll be a lot of times just like after work where I'll just drink by myself, or meeting or seeing other people, I'll be with them, but it's never just one casual drink. It's always going all out, go hard or go home, you know?
Okay, so
but yeah. So
if we put numbers into it, like if, you know, obviously 0 is not realistic starting. So if you're talking about like weekly goal, if you want to say that, weekly maybe, like how many times would you allow yourself for the first, I don't know, month or 2 months? If you put numbers into it, how many times would you think you allow yourself for a drink, and then until you cut it off completely?
Not at all. Like, I'm done.
So we're starting from 0.
0. Like, I'm done. I'm really excited for this, and I know that if I continue on with this, something bad is going to happen, and I have that intuitive feeling. I could, you know, probably drink and drive and kill somebody, or get into a nasty accident, or do whatever, something that can end me up in prison, or whatever it is. It's just, it's in the matter of time until that point hits. So I can't have that. I can't have that happen. My grandpa died about a month and a half ago from alcohol, and it's in my genes. It's in my blood, and it's very scary. So I have to make this decision while I'm young, because I don't want to be the person that dies when I'm like 40. You know?
No, 100%. No. Yeah. So let's do that. Do you have a calendar?
I do.
You have a calendar on your phone or on your wall?
On the wall, both. Yeah.
Both. So every single week that you finishes without drinking a single bit of alcohol.
Yeah.
You say you write "Go Jordan."
All right.
And you'll you know have all those Go Jordans, and every time you go see it, you'll want to write another Go Jordan, or whatever it is, Go Jordan, or just words of encouragement, that you write the same thing over and over every week, and I'll tell you, you'll see the compound that it's going to do on you, that you next week you'll want to go and write the same thing, right? So
Thanks,
and if you can do that, because it's for you, right? If you can do that for the next 6 months, or even the next month after that, whatever is going to be a habit is going to be ingrained into your life after. So I'm super excited for that change for you, because
Thanks, man.
Alcohol is a disguised drug that not a lot of people talk about, and I tried to help a lot of people close to me, especially someone that's very close, my good friend. He struggled with the same thing as you, so just like little words that I try to not say, or things that will trigger him and his wish of going to drink a lot. I try to support him in that, and it's not easy for sure, because if you had this, and even your brain, right, your brain just wants it, and it's something that's hard to control. Just as being humans, we want that relief, and you know, whatever that brings into good into your life. But
man,
absolutely.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing.
Yeah, Go Jordan. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna write that every week. So
man, Go Jordan with a little exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark. Yep. I'll definitely make that happen, and I'll send you a scrend of it after 6 months, and I'll tell you. I'll show you all the Go Jordans that are there.
Or you'll catch me. Send you an email every month to see how your month is going.
I'd love that, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Jordan. Well, thank you for being with me today, and we'll catch you in 6 months.
That sounds great, man. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
thank you for staying until the end. If you liked my conversation with Jordan, please consider subscribing. There is many more episodes coming this month, and I don't want you to miss them.